And now a little story from the Appleseed.
My Aunt Marguerite is 85 years old and only recently graduated from medical school. That always solicits applause. You didn't. All right. Just because you're in the security shirt doesn't mean you shouldn't be working here. Well, the way she explains it is like this. My girlfriends and I, our husbands have passed on, and we were tired of the bridge club and the garden club. So we all went back to medical school. We serve two purposes in our community. We're a hospice for people who won't admit it. Often very conservative people, because the first time they ever heard the word hospice was from Bill Moyers on the PBS. So they think death and dying's a liberal issue. And we're the emergency room for the ashamed. For example, if you go to the big hospital, you know, the doctors and the nurses, of course, they'll keep your business secret, but the hospital auxiliary ladies, they'll tell you business. Y'all have pink ladies here, do y'all? Oh, that's good. All right. So if you do that, well, I'll give you an example. Ray McFolden's got the asthma. That's not funny. That was insensitive. Ray has the asthma, and he carries an albuterol inhaler in his pocket. And he had an episode one day. He was driving, and but he had a Sucret lozenge in the barrel. And it got caught in his esophagus. And it wasn't going to dissolve because it was still in the wrapper. And he made his way to our hospital. You know, we have, our hospital is an antebellum home. It's very old, but it was abandoned for 8 years. We got it cheap. And it has 2 magnolia trees on the side, so we only have to paint the front. And we have the carport portico there, you know, and that's our emergency lane. And when Mr. Cannon retired from his Pure Oil station, we bought his air hose bill. That was back in the days of service stations. Young people, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. But in the old days, you'd go over the kang kang, and it would ring a bell. And so we heard kang kang. Oh, we have an emergency. Let's go see who it is. And we rushed out there, and Ray was he was in a bad way. I mean, he that was down, and it was bad. Well, I went to Emory. Have y'all ever heard of Emory University? No, because we don't have a football team. But that's where it's a very important hospital, university with a teaching hospital. It's where that Irish girl invented that heart procedure. Her name's angioplasty. You taught him to boo. Yeah, Marguerite. That's a little joke I made up all by myself. Well, that's where I went to school. But my friend Mary Frances, she went to the Georgia College of Medicine in Augusta, and there's nothing wrong with that. But she practices holistic medicine, things you might not read in the physician's desk reference or the New England Journal. And y'all heard of that. And anybody here in medicine? I'm not supposed to look behind me, but I did anyway. Well, she went to the New England Journal, but she practices she went to the Georgia Medicine School. Anyway, focus, Andy. And she practices holistic medicine, things you might not read about in those places. And she went into our little kitchen, and she pulled out a bottle of hot sauce. It's called Scorned Woman. It's her favorite by far. And she poured it in a little pill cup. You know, those little cups like when you get your ketchup at McDonald's? Except this is a medical supply, so it's $40. And she said, drink this down. And he was healed. And that's the end of that anecdote.
Thanks for joining us for a little story from the Appleseed.